What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan!
And today we're back to answer you, and that guy back there's questions on another episode of For the Greater War.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. If you don't put question in front of your question, we don't answer it because there's so many other questions. Yeah. That is what Marcel Goussard did. Oh, names are on top now? Is that something new? What? He asks, what old 40K lore do you think shouldn't be retconned? Shouldn't have been retconned?
Alright, so I'll go first. I don't know if this has been retconned or if there's like different, like what could have happened, but it's the whole thing of having that lone guardsman stand up to Horus when he was fighting the Emperor and the whole thing on the flagship. Because there's some accounts that just say it was just some random guardsman that stood up to literally a freaking chaos god, or at least that appeared in that way. Or there's other accounts that say it was the perpetual Alanius Pius. So, in my opinion, I think it should just stay as just a lonely guardsman. Just a random run-of-the-mill guy. Because that kind of shows you that even in the face of chaos, any ordinary citizen can do what it takes. He didn't run. He didn't say, well, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice my life. He was like, I see what's happening. I need to do something. The Emperor needs me, and that was his call to action.
Yeah, that would be a good way of, like, also giving proof to the Primarchs and to the Space Marines that humans can hurt individuals. Like, without that guy, Horus probably would have killed the Emperor, maybe. So I think, yeah, that would be a really good one to just solidify and not have it be, because what was the other theory? That it was one of his guard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like a custode or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
or Sanguinius.
Yeah, Sanguinius, Alanius Pius, which was the perpetual from the Cabal. I mean, that's another interesting twist, but I think it makes more sense just being just a lonely guardsman.
Yeah, I wish that they wouldn't have retconned the Necrons being just like mindless, basically
automatrons.
Yeah, well, because they're supposed to be mummies, right?
Yeah,
that's
space
the
mummies.
I think that would have been more menacing because when you look at the Tyranids, the fact that the Tyranids are a hive mind and they're just animalistic, that makes them more dangerous. By giving them a supreme leader, it kind of like makes it not as badass or not as like dangerous. I think that's what happened with the Necrons, because now you have like Necron lords and they're kind of doing their thing and they kind of give their people more personality. Yeah. And that's kind of like, oh well, if you kill that guy then you kill the dynasty kind of thing.
Or like the whole thing with the Blood Angels, as long as you make an alliance with the Necron lord in charge, it's like, oh, you don't have to worry about each individual Necron.
Yeah.
Instead of it being, they're automatrons, they're just going to go and kill no matter what. There's no hope of a truce. Like, it literally would have been an all-out war between the Tyranids, the Necrons, and the Blood Angels, instead of them teaming up against the Tyranids.
Yeah. I see why they did it, especially because that lore came out when the Necrons became OP. So people were drawn to that and wanting to create their own overlords. Mm-hmm. But it would have been nice to just have mindless zombies, and you can't kill the head because the head would be the Silent King, and the Silent King is gone. So it would have been badass.
What do you guys think? Let us know down below in the comments.
You guys are going to say Malal.
Yeah, I know that one's coming.
Next question.
Faking It 6-6. Would the Eldar gods, such as Isha and Kegara, continue to exist even if the Eldar race were to be wiped out?
No, I don't think so. I think that if the Eldar were to be wiped out, then no one is there to believe them, right? Because that's how they exist.
Right, through beliefs. Well, at least that's how chaos exists.
Yeah.
But again, there's also rumors of maybe the whole Old Ones theory. Maybe the Elder gods aren't actually gods; they're just like Old Ones.
Old Ones, yep.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. So maybe they would exist.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Next question comes from Ryan Moses. Who is your favorite Primarch or chapter?
It always changes, but right now I'll go with Sanguinius or Fulgrim.
Same thing with this chapter?
Yeah, I gotta stick with the chapters. There's only one chapter that I like that I don't like the Primarch, and that's the Iron Hands.
Do you don't like the Primarch? His like
Manus.
his story, or do you don't like the way that he looks?
I guess his story is pretty badass, but I guess his like character, I don't know. There's something about him that just like I'm like, nah, I'll like somebody else. I don't know, because his story's badass.
Yeah, I feel that way with 1,000 Suns. Like I don't like Fulgrim.
You mean Magnus?
Or sorry, then it's the Emperor's Children.
Okay.
The Emperor's Children, they're pretty cool because they're like noise marines and like they're Slaneshi devotees, but then I don't like Fulgrim. Like his story. Demon Primarch Fulgrim looks badass, but still. Oh, and my favorite would be Dorn and the Iron or Imperial Fists.
What draws you to Dorn? Because to me, he just seems kind of bland.
Well, like he's the hero. He's like the defender of Terra. Like you have the Emperor, yeah. You have like all the other Primarchs who are trying to defend the Imperium, but you have Dorn, who's actually the fortress builder and like the guy in the castle kind of thing.
Makes defenses and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't they also do like satellite like defenses and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So first you have to get through the rings of Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's like one thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, yeah, whatever. Next question.
Michael Hammer, or Hamar. How would Master Chief do in Warhammer 40K with all his possible gear and infinity ammo?
We had back in the day, we used to do Hero Click battle reports. They were a lot of fun. And we did Master Chief versus Space Marines. And Master Chief won. He killed 2 Space Marines.
I remember that, yeah.
So, I mean, I think he would do well. It really depends on the scenario. Would he survive an entire campaign? Probably not. But he did during Hero Clicks.
Yeah. I mean, thinking of it logically, he is kind of like a Space Marine because he's like a super soldier with like that awesome suit, and he's got Cortana, I believe. It's been a while since I played Halo. But, yeah, he can do a lot of work because he was basically a one-man army. Now imagine that, like in the older Halo lore, when there was a whole bunch of Spartans, like they were doing work. So it's similar to that of like Space Marines, but I mean he'll last a long time, but I don't see him surviving on his own. He'd have to ally with like a Space Marine chapter or an Imperial Guard, something along those lines.
Yeah. Check out so just on YouTube search Space Marine versus Halo, and then Hero Clicks, and our video should come up if you guys want to see that. Next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. Why are Salamanders the only Space Marines that seem to care about the common citizen? Because of their Prometheum cult. They believe in something different than the Imperial Creed, but basically it means that the Salamanders themselves are more attached to their citizens than any other chapter. They have a similar relationship to like the tribes on Fenris, to the Space Wolves, but they don't, like, they're seen as gods, but they're seen as like compassionate gods. So that's why it's the Promethean cult. That's another 40 facts video that we've already created, so you guys should check it out. 40 facts on the Promethean cult. It explains a little bit more, in more detail, I guess. And Vulcan was a compassionate person.
Yeah.
Next question.
This one is by Jacob Thompson. Could you sterilize, lobotomize, and collar a group of orcs and then utilize their wall energy? Maybe if they were still part of a good fight, they could be tricked into working off of that magic. So that goes along the same lines as, can you like brainwash an orc or like kind of push an orc to do something that you want them to do? I don't think so.
Yeah, like you could get probably like so far, but then after that they're gonna turn around and hurt you.
Yeah.
Because like saying that can you sterilize them, can you make them like docile? No, but let's say you could, in your theory or in your world, what would end up happening is like a situation like the Krork, where eventually they will die.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because they're basically bred or born or created for one reason, and that's war.
Yeah. But yeah. Next question comes from Michael Hamar. Does porn exist in 40K?
Who does it? Slanesh, that's a big indication of yes.
Yeah.
It does.
There are things called pleasure worlds. Check out our 40 facts on pleasure world. It's an old video, but it's there.
Or check out some Lisa Ann vids. It's
Lisa
there.
Ann. What that is.
That's good.
Okay, next question. I have one from Kusi Maka. Are there any taboos in the Dark Eldar society? There's a hierarchy, so breaking the hierarchy is kind of a taboo. Like you have the regular just pirates, and then you have like whatever comes after the Archon, then you have the Archons. And then of course you have like, what are those?
The witch cults.
The witch cults, and then you have,
you got the homunculi, and there's a lot of taboos. They're just pretty hidden.
Yeah.
This next one is by Fidel Gastro. In your opinion, what was or is the most unbalanced and OP thing in 40K history? Gameplay wise, it had to be, I want to say it was either 5th or 6th edition, when the Grey Knights came out, brand spanking new book, and they had an ability called Plasma Siphon, where any weapon that had to do with plasma couldn't harm them at all.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And that's basically all of like Tau weapons.
So they give Grey Knights versus Tau lose automatically?
Hands down, yeah. Unless you shoot them with like missiles or like, I think rail weapons could work too. But like pulse rifles, plasma rifles, that kind of thing, couldn't harm them at all.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And then it kind of going along the same lines, right, for lore?
Yeah, lore-wise, it's like they're the best. Like, besides the Custodes, but like, they're up there. It's like let's say you're having a demon insurrection on a whole planet, they'll send like 3 Grey Knights and they'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Ridiculous, really.
Yeah, just going through the 40 facts on Caldor Drago can show you what like the most OP of OP people can do.
Yeah.
I think there's like a 3-part 40 facts video to it. Check it out.
Next question comes from Brian B. Do you think Korax will come back when Deliverance is under siege by High Fleet Kraken?
I hope. I mean, I just want a Primarch to come out by now. Like, I think it's been long enough that we've been waiting for like Primarchs. Just bring one. Doesn't matter who, just bring it.
I'm a little scared that they're gonna bring back Korax and he's gonna look goofy. Well, I feel like that with any Primarch, because Gilliman looks so goofy.
His proportions are a little off.
Yeah, he's weird. Whoever sculpted him, I'm sorry, you did a bad job.
Like, when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. But I think because, like, I was clouded by the hype.
Yeah.
But now that I see it, it's like, it's still cool, but...
They need to get whoever sculpts the 30K.
Yeah, the Horus Heresy line.
Yeah, because if you compare Gilliman 30K to Gilliman 40K, like, they look like 2 completely different, like... what do you call it? Games, I guess. I mean, it is a different game, but like you get what I'm saying. That's how I felt with the Kill Team. Which one's the one where like you were a rogue trader? It might be just Kill Team Rogue Trader. But they had like those giant monsters and like they were like Nurgle guys.
Yeah,
and like a butcher guy.
It was like a Kill Team, I think.
That was a little cartoony for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, I saw one on eBay for real cheap, but like just looking at the sculpts, I'm like,
yeah, too cartoony.
Yeah, like just the faces are way too like it brings you out of the element. It's supposed to be grim dark, and it's not.
Yeah, they did a good job with Blackstone Fortress, though.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah. Those models are amazing. Next question comes from Sean Gary. Gary, is there ever a situation where Tyranids would fight each other? How would a conflict between high fleets play out?
Like 2 spiders going at it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, even though they're all Tyranids, they still fight amongst each other. They're competing for food sources, and they're gonna want to get to it first.
Yeah, because they're just animals.
Francisco Viejo. That means old in Spanish. Question for the Sound Alchemist. That's me. It is. If the Elric brothers from Fullmetal Alchemist transported themselves to the 40K universe, would they be treated as heretics, or would they go into the Inquisition for their knowledge of the Philosopher's Stone? Hands down, they're going to be heretics. They're gonna see their alchemy as like witchcraft. They're gonna be branded as like traitors to the Imperium, and they'll be killed.
Unless they're born into the School of Progenium, because but eventually they would be considered heretics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, I don't like, even like to the people that didn't know about alchemy, that was seen as like witchcraft, or like they're not normal. But once you understand the science and everything, it might happen. However, if you're going off of the stuff from the first Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, when Ed was transported to the real world or the other side of the gate, he didn't have access to alchemy. He was like in our world now, and alchemy wasn't a thing. So that might also happen. They might be transported to the 40K universe, and they might not have the ability to use it.
Don't you hate that when like places do that? They send you to the real world, and then it's like, oh, you know the reason that you watch because it's transporting you to a fantasy world that you really love? What if we did that and canceled everything that you love?
Pretty much. Like, oh, you like Star Wars and the Force? Well, what if they're just regular people?
Yeah. But those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget we have a Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys, and it helps us pay for them giveaways, which should be coming this week.
Keep your eyes and ears peeled like a pear. You peel pears, right?
No.
A mango.
Yeah, you peel a mango.
Yeah. And with that, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.